Her eyes went from the sparkling coin to the door. The slide lock was in place, and Mary knew she would never be able to open the door in time before the man would be upon her. She opened her mouth to start the song again, but the only sound to exit her mouth was an even louder sob than the one a moment before. The coin disappeared, and the man made a sound that made Mary Kelly cringe. It was so animalistic that she came near to swooning. It was a low growl that came from the deepest recesses of the faceless man's throat. She kept her eyes closed. "Very well." The words were far harsher than the ones uttered before them. "Perhaps we should conclude our business." The cane moved between the man's feet, and then the tip was tapped 3 times in succession. "You may remove your clothes, my dear." At the end of the request, the word dear was sounded through a growl, as if a wolf were speaking to her from the darkness of a long-ago dead forest. Mary removed her apron first and let it fall to the floor. She heard the man remove something from his breast pocket, and then realized he was holding a piece of paper. No. Fold your clothes as you remove them. Neatness is a virtue, my dear. A virtue! The shouting of the last 2 words drowned out Mary's involuntary cry as she reached down and hurriedly picked up the apron. "You have a physician that treats you and your colleagues for the harsher social diseases and problems that may arise with unwanted conception." "Yes, Dr. Fremantle," Mary said through whispered words that actually made her feel weaker than she was. "You are with child?" "Oh," she moaned through her tears. "You are with child?" he asked once again, with a low-based growl sounding once more with a steadily increasing crescendo. "Yes," Mary answered, as she closed her eyes tightly. The man suddenly stood in the darkness and emerged into the dim light. This time there was not the glimmer of gold that shone in the dim lighting, but the chromed blade of a large knife that froze Mary Kelly's heart. The next 20 minutes were the most violent of all the attacks that took place in Whitechapel that summer and fall. Jack the Ripper was not the man the newspapers described as meticulous. It was an attack that symbolized the violence of the times that were coming, and would lead to a legend being born that would haunt mankind for a century to come. Blood flew as the flesh of Mary Kelly, the attractive brunette that had no enemy outside of her landlord, was cut and hacked until the young woman was unrecognizable as anything resembling a human being. Outside the rundown flat in Whitechapel, the fog started to roll in from the river. The man's eyes watched as the policeman came and went from the small room that had quickly become the most vicious crime scene London had ever been witness to. He saw the familiar form of the chief inspector for the municipal police force as he stepped from the small flat. The tall man and his constant companion pushed through the crowd of curious onlookers who had gathered after the body of Mary Kelly had been discovered at 11 that morning. As the 2 men approached the chief inspector, they could both see he was not feeling well after seeing the body. The chief inspector gathered his wits and then noticed the man in the tweed suit with his companion close beside. "You 2 again," the inspector said as he angrily eyed the 2 men. "I am obliged to ask what you gentlemen are doing here in my crime scene." "Chief Inspector Abberline," the taller of the 2 men said as he removed his bowler hat. "What have we here?" he asked, as he first eyed the gathered residents of the area and then the house itself. Frederick George Abberline looked the man over, and then his anger rose even more than a moment before. He took the man by the arm and pulled him away from the onlookers, who took no notice of the 3 men as the body